Hello everyone. Hi. So today we have with us Thejaswi Nayak and we will be having a discussion on the topic of motherhood and career with her. Hi Thejaswi. If you can please send me the request. I'll try. So let's just wait for a few minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, hi Tejaswi. Lovely having you here. I'm
Thank you.
Nilofer. We haven't spoken before. Uh,
Yeah, I've been talking
yeah,
to Vidya from your team.
yeah, right. So let's just hold on for a moment. I'm expecting Vidya to join us.
Sure.
Yeah, I already have it. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day to you too, and also everyone who has joined in.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hi,
Hey,
Vidya.
hi. Hi, Thejaswi. Hi, Nilufa.
Hi.
A very happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just introduce Tejasvi. I have been following you, Tejasvi, for quite some time now, and I really appreciate the way you are living your life. It's something that I really admire about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of introduction on Tejasvi. She has a full-time corporate job. Along with that, she's also a content writer and she's also a model. And you look beautiful, really.
Thank you.
I mean, it's. I just love watching all your videos. They are full of life, and I really personally find them very motivating. Uh, you know, um, the way the way you put it up, okay, it's just beautiful. I think I will fall short of words if I try to describe that, but it's really great to know you, and both Vidya and I, we are so happy to have you with us today.
Thank
Okay,
you so
thank you
much.
so
Yes.
much for taking out the time and joining us. Okay, so do you want to say something, Tejasvi, or should I start up with my first question?
Yeah, we can start off.
Okay, okay. So the topic of our discussion is motherhood and career. And most of the women, after they become mothers, they tend to lose their identity and they start identifying themselves as the mother they have become. Okay, we will talk a lot about this in and around this topic. But before even going there, okay, we would love to know you, Tejasvi. So it would be great if you can talk a few lines about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Thejaswi, and I work at an IT firm as a support account manager. I have a beautiful 2.5-year-old daughter. So I am a working mother, like many of us in this country. How I became a mother is quite a story. So when I was in the first trimester of my pregnancy, I lost my husband. So, despite everyone's advice about many, many things, most of which being terminating the pregnancy and remarriage, of course. So, I chose the path which nobody would have expected me to take, and I continued my pregnancy to become a single mother. So, that has been my journey. And I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made to become a mother. And ever since, I have been evolving as a person, and I've become a better person because I am a mother. So that's been my journey, and here I am.
Thank you so much, Tejasvi, for that
Yeah.
introduction.
Yeah. True inspiration, actually. It's really difficult, to understand and feel someone unless you are experiencing it. It's really difficult to. So, yeah, what did you enjoy the most about motherhood and what did you hate doing it? Hate doing. Yeah.
Uh, Motherhood is extremely beautiful, I would say. Uh, so the very choice of becoming a mother completely changed my perspective of life and as a person who I am. So when I had gone for a scan during my pregnancy, and when the doctor showed me her heartbeat, uh, my entire life changed after I saw after I saw her on that screen, after I heard the heartbeat, my entire life changed. Whatever I was until then, everything changed, and I was a complete different person. So motherhood does that to you. You get to experience that unconditional love. You also get to become a better version of yourself, because you want your kids to become better. You have to become better yourself first, and unless you do that, it's not
Yes.
possible. So that is one thing I really really love about motherhood. I am learning a lot of things. I have become a much better person, and I am getting a lot of love, and I get to give a lot of love, which is a very important thing in my life. The thing I hate about motherhood, I don't hate anything in particular, but the only difficult part is the tiring job it is. Right, we are on the go 24/7. Especially the first few months of my postpartum were really really challenging, for me, mentally and physically. So
Mm.
that is something I would say very difficult for any mother in this world. In general cases, with everything going right, even then, postpartum takes a toll on your health. And for me, it was I think 10 times harder. So I think that was the
Yes.
only part of pregnancy and motherhood I would say was challenging and very difficult. But otherwise, it's beautiful.
It, yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how did you cope up with the emotional health during your pregnancy, Tejasvi? I just felt like asking. It's really difficult to, when you said you heard her heartbeat and you felt so good. It's a mixed emotions, right? You're feeling sad and you're also happy about your daughter. How did you manage? How did you cross the path?
Well, after that tragic incident, it was really difficult for me. Um, I can't put it in words how difficult it was,
Yeah.
right? But and I was also getting a lot of advices from a lot of parts of the society. You're too young to do this. You cannot do this. It'll be difficult in future, and many other things like that. But I didn't pay attention to any of those. I just heard my heart, and when I specifically spoke about that scan, when I heard her heartbeat, I understood that as a mother, I have the potential to give life to another creature that's growing inside of me. So from that point, as I said, I completely changed myself. So that gave me a lot of strength. So I thought to myself, if I go forward with this, this will give me a purpose for life. This will give me a purpose for me to keep myself alive, because I was having a lot of suicidal thoughts. I even went to a therapist, and I was going through a lot. So the one thing that she was growing inside me gave me a lot of hope, and I knew for a fact that I have one person who I can give all of my love, and in her I can see the purpose of my life. So I think that became the biggest hope for me to keep myself sane, I would say. So that
You know,
Yeah.
that was
I'm
it.
actually in a mix of emotions right now listening to you,
Yeah.
Tejasvi. I cannot even imagine how you must have dealt with it. It's really like, something that I don't know whether I deserve to say it to you, but I'm really proud of the woman you are, of the mother you are. Okay, the way you carried yourself all the way through, it's not an easy thing, and it's
Right.
definitely not possible for everyone to do it. Okay, people break, but then you emerged more stronger and more beautiful. You're living your life, you're really enjoying, your moments with your little one. This is something like, that really needs a round of applause. So I'm just going to clap on for you.
Thank you.
True.
Yeah. I I
Motherhood can
uh
be so strong.
I just want to mention this thing before we proceed further. If you feel uncomfortable with any of our questions, our apologies, and you can straight away drop it off. So it's not like you're obliged to answer everything that we ask you for.
No
As you
problem.
mentioned, like, definitely, it was a very difficult time for you, and I'm like, I cannot comprehend even like, asking you anything more about it. What
Yes.
was your one pillar of strength? You already mentioned it was your daughter, you heard her heartbeat, but then was there something that you could actually grab onto, and that person or that thing was your support system throughout your pregnancy and during your postpartum and even till date?
So that one person who has been my biggest pillar throughout all this is definitely my mother. Now, she also went through something similar to this. So my father passed away when I was in 10th standard. So my mother had to single-handedly raise me. Um, and it was quite difficult for her. But what was the biggest blessing was that she was financially independent. So she always made sure that I also become one, no matter what situation life throws at you. So that has been my biggest strength. The way she has raised me, the way she picked up and rebuilt her life after my dad passed away. That was the biggest source of strength to me. And I think only because of that I've been able to do this. Otherwise, it's really difficult.
I'm actually very emotional right now. It's yeah. You want to ask the next question, Nilufer?
I have to look over just a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next question that we have for you is, how do you manage all this? If you can just talk about your current situation. You have a toddler. I'm sure she's a naughty toddler. Uh, yeah. Both Vidya and I also have toddlers, so we can completely relate with that kid phase of a thing. This phase is really difficult. So how do you manage, Tejasvi? How do you manage everything to balance out between your motherhood and your career, and you're pursuing so much more? Okay, it's not just one or two things that you're doing. You're working at. Okay, so there's so much more to your personality. How do you manage, to take care of everything so beautifully?
Uh, I think as working mothers, we have to balance the priorities on a daily basis. Uh, I know it's a very difficult job. So that is also something I learned from my mother. She has been able to do it extremely beautifully. And I learned it from her actually. So uh, for me, it has been very easy because I've been working from home since the time she's born. Because of the pandemic,
Okay.
that has been a very big blessing for me. Uh, so yeah, that helped a lot. If I had to go to office, I know it would have been a different situation, a much difficult one. But I'm doing good so far.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Tejasvi.
Our next question is, see, after marriage, a man's life is hardly impacted, but a woman's life is literally, turned upside down. Every responsibility is on her head. Like if she's a working woman, she has to take care of the house, she has to take care of the work, everything. So why should a woman get all this extra work when we are talking about, gender equality or anything related to that, whether it is in workplace or at home? Why, what, how it this can be, impact? How can this have an impact, and how can we bring a change to this?
Right. So in our society, especially, a woman is supposed to give up a lot of things after marriage. A woman is supposed to, uh, you know, change a lot of things in her life as compared to the man. So I think it really comes down to how supportive your partner is, how supportive the family is when it comes to the household environment. And in terms of work, if she's a career-oriented woman, it is also very important to have supportive colleagues at your workplace. Uh, because if both of these don't go hand in hand, it will be a difficult place for the woman. Your husband and your in-laws, they should understand that you can only do so much as a working woman, and they need to support you in your ambitions and whatever career you want to pursue. And on the work side, the people at work must also understand what a working woman will go through, because we all have working women in our families, right? Be it our friends, be it our colleagues, anyone. So it all comes down to basic understanding. We need to put ourselves in that woman's place and understand, is she able to do everything that I expect her to do? What can I do to make her life better? So in house, if the husband also takes his share of the household chores, it'll be very very easy. And in the workplace also, if they're very supportive about giving urgent leaves, say suppose the child is sick or something like that, that also makes the woman's life much easier. So these are the things that really really need to improve. There are a lot of improvements that are happening in this perspective, but yeah, we still need more support for women to pursue their careers and be successful both in home and at work.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tejasvi.
right.
One thing, which is very much common in our society is, and whether we want to accept it or we don't want to accept it, we live in a highly patriarchal society. So, first, I want to know your view about it before asking you a question on patriarchy. And if you have something that you really want to talk out of your own experience, some kind of like, similar experience that you've had in your life and you want to share it, and then I will come down to my actual question on this, Tejasvi.
Yes, we live in an extremely patriarchal society. There is absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, we we say that society has changed. Women are doing a lot of things today. Yes, but in the middle class families, in the rural side of India, it is deep rooted and it exists very much. Uh, I want to recall one of the incidents that I went through, which kind of made me fight these stereotypes and these norms. So after my daughter was born, we went to the in-laws' house for her naming ceremony. So there were a lot of people gathered. It was a function arranged. I went there with my mom and my grandmother. So my mother-in-law comes and she says to me and my mom, she says, "You and your mother cannot be a part of this because you're widows, and it's a bad omen. So give the baby to me. I'll do the ceremony, and later you can come back home." I I lost it that day. I said, you know, if a mother is a widow, a divorcee, or whatsoever be her marital status, mother can never be a bad omen to her own child, right? No matter what condition a mother is in, she will always give her best blessings to the child. And this is one thing I had a huge problem with. And I was so angry that day. I created, a huge fight, and I went ahead and I did it myself. And everyone was stunned. The Panditji then eventually cooperated, and I did it myself. And I am proud to say that I did this in a society where they look down on widows. So that
Really,
day,
like, an inspiring thing to do, and it really takes in a lot of strength. Although you're just talking about it and you're saying it, and people are listening, but when you're actually in that situation, I can imagine like how much of strength and courage it really takes to stand up against people and who are family. It takes a lot of courage. So hats off to you, Tejasvi, for that. And
thank you,
definitely you did the best thing. There's no doubt in that.
thank
And
you.
so you did that ceremony at your in-laws' place itself, or you had it arranged later on?
No, I did it there in front of her, in front of everyone. And yeah, ever since
Awesome.
I was thinking that these traditions uh, don't really make sense. A woman's
Completely
marital
agree.
status does not make her unfortunate in any way.
Completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. That actually kind of, led me to my next question that I had for you. So, we agree, okay, all of us over here, Vidya, you and me, okay, we have faced patriarchy in our lives to some extent, in different ways. Now, there's something which I really feel I want to share with you guys, and you can let me know your opinion about it. What I really feel is that it's not only the men who are patriarchal, but the women who are more patriarchal, in our society, in our houses, okay? And maybe they are even doing it unintentionally. And another surprising, fact that I observed myself is that I also have exhibited patriarchal behavior so many times unknowingly when I was not even aware about what patriarchy is. My mother, I didn't have a, I know my mother does all the housework, she cooks, she cleans, the house is primarily her responsibility. That's the way she raised me, and that's something I grew up with. So it's kind of embedded in me that the house, taking care of the house, is the responsibility of a woman. Definitely, I have changed for good now, but then there were times when I have also exhibited that patriarchal behavior. So, what is your take on that? Do you think are men the only people who are patriarchal in our society, or are women equally, contributing to this patriarchy system that is existing? And another point I want you to answer is that it's not only women who are victims of patriarchy. There are men also who, turn out to be victims of this entire patriarchy system that exists.
Yes, absolutely. You know, there are a lot of women who project the patriarchal practices on other women. The example I just spoke about, my
Yes.
mother-in-law. So, being a woman, you cannot say that to another woman because tomorrow, if you also lose your husband and somebody says that to you, it's going to be extremely hurtful. So,
Yes.
I think women are conditioned in such a way that it is deep rooted in them, and at present these things are changing, but somewhere the women who belong to our parents generation uh, are still stuck with that mindset, and that is something which is very difficult to change. But yes, women do pass on a lot of judgmental comments which are very sexist in nature. This also happens in workplace. When you get a promotion, somebody speaks bad about your ways of getting promotion. So there are women who do that. And the second part of your question, yes, men are also deeply affected by patriarchy. And this goes hand in hand with how women, take part in these practices. So in most of the conservative households, the boys are brought up in such a way that their only priority is education and getting a job. But the way you bring up a girl child is completely different. Well, you may give her education, but you also make sure that she learns cooking, she learns household chores,
Yes.
so that one day you're going to go to husband's house, you need to be a certain kind. The preparation is more inclined towards that aspect of her life and not really her career or education. So the upbringing itself is very patriarchal, so that needs to change. And yes, this is definitely a bad thing for men as well, because they have been taught that you concentrate on your career and studies and your wife will take care of the kids and
Yes.
household stuff. So when men need to live alone, it becomes really difficult for them to do the chores or cooking and that sort of thing. So uh, keeping everything aside, I think it's very important for both women and men to learn these basic survival skills. Exactly. It's very important. And I would say one thing: we all need to treat all genders with respect and equality. There are women who are wrong too. There are men who are wrong too. I think what we just need to do is call out who is wrong. Anybody who is wrong, irrespective of what gender they are. But we need to stop judging people just because, well, she is a woman, just because he is a man. So that needs to stop. The privilege needs to stop. We need to respect everyone equally.
That was such beautifully said,
Yeah.
Tejasvi, lovely. I just want to add one point over here. When we are raising our boys, okay, if I'm talking about men being victimized by patriarchy, we are raising our boys with the complete set intention that they are the only breadwinners the family can rely upon. So it kind of pressurizes them as well. It's their life also. Okay,
Yes.
although yes, we are talking on women's rights, we are talking about women's day, but as Tejasvi clearly pointed out, okay, there are men who are good, there are women who are good, and vice versa. So you have bad men and bad women. So think about those who are actually suffering because of all these kind of traditions or customs that have been in place over the centuries. It kind of pressurizes them. Even if a man wants to do something else, apart from doing his regular 9 to 5 job, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have a choice. People will start judging him if he
Very true.
decides, to take care of the baby, to take care of the house, and then, let his wife do the job and earn for the family. So then that man gets judged. With the fear of that judgment, there's no man, as who would actually opt in for this, that okay, let me stay at home, even if he likes doing that. Okay, so we need to be really open as a society, and the least that we can do is raise our children in a way that they are not stuck in this, in these claws of patriarchy. Be it a boy or a girl, raise them equally. So that's the best thing
Absolutely.
what we can do.
I'd like to add to that. I also have, heard about men facing the same kind of pressure that you just said. So in a lot of cases, especially in arranged marriages, I've heard some of my male friends talk about this. So they say, girls want to get settled with someone who's an NRI, who is settled abroad. Nobody wants to marry someone who's, having a local job. So that is also very wrong, I would say. If both the girl and the boy are earning, I think that's good enough to make a life better. You don't necessarily need to live abroad to have a better
Yeah,
life. So yeah, that's a lot of pressure on men.
that's true.
Right.
Yeah. Coming to our next question, Tejasvi. Before moving on to next question, there's one comment here saying, Tejasvi ji, I want to know how you manage your life because I'm also facing the same page. I think she means she's also in the same phase. I'm not sure. Anjula Soni.
Okay, I'm not sure what phase you're referring to, but all I would say is don't give up on your life. Take as much as help as you can. You know, take help from your friends, from your co-workers, from your family, whatever it is possible, and know what you want in life. I think that's very important, and stand with that. Don't change what are your true values, and stay true to that. Just don't give up. I think that's all I would say.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tejasvi. One very important point that Tejasvi just mentioned over here is that take help. Okay, you are not supposed to do everything by yourself. Nobody ever was supposed to live alone in this world. Okay, so you have people around you. You need to create your support system even before you enter motherhood. Okay, look out for those people who are with you with the intention of helping you, not with the intention of judging you. So look out for such people and stick to such people and take help. There's no shame in asking for help. You really need to have these things sorted in your mind before even actually entering into the phase of motherhood.
Yeah.
True.
So our next question is, we did some research, Tejasvi, and found out that the more majority of the women quit their jobs after becoming a mother. And also there are very few there are very few women who are in leadership positions. So it's really very alarming to see such ratios in our society these days. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, that's very true. We have a very less number of women in the leadership roles. Uh, I am myself working in a corporate company. I can see that, right? But in the organizations that I have worked in, they have started giving out opportunities to well-deserving women, some of the top roles, and I think that's a really good improvement. But most mothers uh, so most mothers, take a career break as soon as they give birth, and a lot of times what happens is they are reluctant to go back to work, or maybe their family is not supportive enough to let her get back to work. So because of this, somewhere the career comes to an end, And even if she wants to just take a small break in the career, it is not taken well in the corporate environment. So when you look at a resume that has a career gap, it is, they have a doubt about it. Why is there a career gap? Is she going to do that again? And a lot of times, the people who hire such women also, think about scenarios like, what if you get pregnant again? We have to give you 6 months of paid leaves once again, and things like that. But I think that's really wrong. When it comes to women, a small career gap is not bad, I guess, because family is very important to all of us. So the organizations who hire women need to keep that in mind. The other thing also I want to say is, somewhere I think women underestimate their own potential, because since many years we are only used to seeing men with suit and collar in high profile positions. Women tend to underestimate, saying that I may not be able to do this, I have to take care of family and so on. I think one of the biggest inspiration I take when it comes to this scenario is Indra Nooyi. If you look at how she handles her life and how she handles her work as the CEO of such a big company, it's very inspiring. So, like I said before, proper support from your partner, your family, and support from your workplace is extremely important. So, I think everybody needs to be a little more empathetic when it comes to women and career. That'll make everything easier for women.
Thank you so much, Tejasvi. Thanks so much for that. In fact, you mentioned Indra Nooyi, and she speaks the same thing that you said. I have heard her in one of her interviews, as in, saying that she has two children, and when her kids were young, it was with the support of her family that she was able to ace through her work. So creating a support system is really, really an essential part, if you really want to succeed in your career. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we are almost at the end of the session. Okay, and we want to end this session. Vidya, if you have anything more, you can ask.
No, no, no. I was going to tell you the same thing. You can ask the last question.
Okay. Yeah, so we are almost at the end of the session, and I want to end the session by asking you a simple question. What is one thing that you would love to change in this society? That's something, that you feel that this shouldn't have been here in the first place itself, and if given a chance, you want to change it.
Uh, if I want to change one thing, I think I want to change how people are so easily judgmental. Um, we we see a lot of judgments being passed on everyone, especially women. So I think that is one thing we need to stop. Uh, we should never judge someone just by what we know about them. We never know what someone is going through. We never know what something has happened in their past, and we never know what a person's intentions are. So I just I just wish people were not as judgmental as they are today. Respect everyone equally and just spread love, not judgments. That's one thing I would change.
Amazing. Lovely. Lovely thing you've said, Tejasvi. Thank you so much. It was a
Yeah.
great pleasure talking to you. Knowing you is something, something that I would always cherish. And I hope that we'll have more sessions in the future, because there's so much more to learn from you on how to live a happy life, how to, actually not let anything break you, be strong from within, and really live in the best spirit. So I'm looking forward to more sessions. I'm ending this session on that note, that we will definitely
Sure.
love to have more sessions with you. Thank you so much for taking out time and inspiring us, with all your thoughts and thinking. Thank you so much. It was lovely. It was lovely talking to you.
Yes.
Lovely talking
Thank
to
you
you
so
too.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.